Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of an F1 2020 game experiment. Today we're going to be taking a look and see what happens if Renault powered everyone, and not just that, because obviously we have a split between the top 5 teams and the rest of the grid, because the top 5 will be driving a V8 from 2006 while the bottom 5 will be powered by a V10 from 1996. And also, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who subscribed recently. This is the 250 subscriber special, so thank you for all the support you've shown over the past year, and indeed continue to do so. If you've not yet though subscribed, then please do. Massively helps me out in sustaining the channel in the future, so we can get more special episodes like this in the future. So yes, I'm just setting this, as you can hear in the background. This is not a V8 or a V10. This is the, I'm just setting a comparison lap around Monza. Monza, of course, is the test track. It's the only circuit on the current F1 calendar that I've actually been to. I've not been to Silverstone. I have been to Monza, not on a day, not on a Grand Prix weekend though. So yes, as you come through Parabolica, that 20.5, by the way, was set in a Ferrari like about 4 months ago, and I still haven't been able to match it. It's a 20.8 though. So we've also done some modding, like I did with the 100 subscriber special on last year's game with the Honda, although not to that extent. I've put Renault on the rear wing of the Mercedes, as you can see there. I've then put the Renault on the back end plate of the Ferrari. Renault has replaced the Honda logos and everything, so there's Honda Renault instead of the Honda on the front, and there's also Renault on the thing. Have not changed the McLaren or the Renault because they're powered by Renault. The AlphaTauri has a little bit of an issue with it because of the paint file. I had to edit as well because part of the paint file has a huge Honda logo on it. It is a bit of an issue on this year's game, I'm not going to lie, with the colouring, because it comes out like this in the game. Even it's not just the AlphaTauri, it's all the paint files on like that. The Racing Point has Renault on the engine cover. The Alfa Romeo has Renault instead of Alfa Romeo wording on the back and on the side. The hats have got the Renault on the rear wing, and on the back of the rear wing, as well as on the side of the halo, considering the fact they don't even have Ferrari. And the Williams has got the Renault logo on the back. You cannot beat the sound of a V10 engine. We're here at Monza, of course, we're driving the Ferrari. This is going to be interesting because the Ferrari's now had its little bit of its engine's been reduced in power, so it'll be interesting to see how this gets on against lap time. Obviously you can see there it's not great. I'll show you but the lap time that we did in the Ferrari V6 is actually the slowest, even worse than the Williams. Yeah, the V10, it's got similar amount of power to the V8, but not as much acceleration. It's only got 6 gears as well, which sort of limits the power. It's actually got the same amount top speed than compared to the V8. So both of these engines are very similarly comparison. It's just the fact that I think where we're going to see these cars differ. I think it's for acceleration, where the V8 has a bit more of. This has only got, I think this can rev up to like 17,000 RPM. The V8 can have 20,500 RPM. So that is definitely obviously the difference between the two. So you come up to the line, it's definitely going to be a lot slower. And the less whining Renault V8s from 2006, Fernando Alonso title winning thing. 197 is the top speed. I think the top speed of the V10 is 195. So we go into turn 1. I actually made time up initially on the time. As I say, I think the setup, the 20.5 had low wings. I can't quite remember the setup. It's not the setup I use for the race, because it loses me time ever so slightly, but I might have to use it in later seasons, we'll see. But through the Lesbos corners now, this car of course is the Renault. The Renault is actually a very good car in this year's game, and as it is in real life. It's not, don't be fooled by the performance index in career mode, okay, because it may show the Ferrari ahead of the Renault, but in reality the Renault is probably looks actually faster than the Ferrari. As you've may or may not been seeing if you've been following my driver career mode, Renault have made those gains, but still the Renault has definitely got the advantage over the Ferrari, I feel anyway, having driven the base version of them. And you'll see that reflected in the times. 23.3, so yeah. So the Red Bull obviously was faster. I believe that I made a slight mistake on the V6 run, but still fastest run. But that was the fastest one, a 20.9. And the Renault as well. I got a slightly better turn into out of turn 1. So that obviously made up probably a couple of tenths, but it's not too much dissimilar. If you compare where they are in the V8, they do have quite a lot of pace. The V10 power cars, Ferrari's not really matching. It's slightly better than the Renault in terms of difference. The Williams though has been really hampered. It's just slower than slowest of all, and 4 seconds off its original time compared to the Ferrari was originally slower than the Williams. So obviously that's the power of the Mercedes engine, which is pretty much OP in F1 2020. But still, considering the fact Williams have lost a heap amount of time by switching to a V10 engine, which probably shows this. I think this mod is definitely showing, because the top half and the bottom half of the grid have the same engine. It's definitely showing up who has the best and who has the worst Sashi and Aero combination in F1 2020 and in the straight line around Monza. Nevertheless, enough about that. It's time for a race. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Albon, Ricciardo, Valtteri Bottas and Ocon, Norris, Sainz, Perez and Lance Stroll, Fiat, Leclerc, Pierre Gasly and Vettel, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Kevin Magnussen and Kimi Raikkonen, Russell and Nicholas Latifi. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So we're driving as Max Verstappen. We've obviously once again done a short qualifying session. We've done one-shot quali and we qualified P2. Yes, I do these one-shot quali now after seeing there. But looking at this, I hate to get this when the game does that. It selects the soft to hard strategy. I do change it up in midway through the race. There's 5 lights and away we're going. It's an awful start for Hamilton. He's bogged down and we've easily have taken the lead against Lewis Hamilton in the race. Ricciardo's up to P2. I'll show how good Ricciardo. Again, obviously now Renault have got the same engine as Mercedes. I think he just bogged down. I've never seen an AI have that horrific a start on an F1 game. It's just a shame it doesn't happen in a normal career. And Sebastian Vettel was down the inside, had a bit of an awkward moment. He's in the V10. He did lose out at turn 1. As Ricciardo now is getting even closer to us, and he's pulling to our left hand side. And Ricciardo, oh my goodness grief! We've been clean done by Ricciardo. Never. I don't think I've ever been done that cleanly by an AI and an overtake ever on an F1 game. Well, this mod has already produced two things we don't normally see in the F1 game, and then we're only on lap 2. But jumping to lap 4, things start to settle down. Ricciardo, obviously, we start to reel him in again. Obviously, the comparison between the Red Bull and the Renault is very close. So, can we have a look down the inside? We're going to dive down the inside with a late lunge, but Ricciardo closes the door and we have to take to the grass and take avoiding action and not to as we jump on board Lando Norris. Unfortunately, his participation in this game experiment is at an end because he's out with an engine failure. Again, even in Grand Prix mode, they come that random. We now have DRS on Ricciardo. He's set the fastest lap in the Grand Prix, so he's been getting that bonus point. Not that it matters anyway. Now, we're not close enough with the DRS here, but notice we saved up a bit of ERS here. And obviously, going through Turn 1 and Turn 2, that allows us to save up there. We're going to use all the ERS. I suspect Ricciardo isn't using as much as we're gaining. We're in the slipstream of Ricciardo as well, as we're going to make a late dive to the inside. This time we'll pull alongside and we're back in front of the Italian Grand Prix, and that is definitely more like it. Definitely more conventional move as the down the inside. Ricciardo, to be fair, Ricciardo did give us space this time, and up into the race leaders. We come in on the end of lap 7. Ricciardo is going to continue on, so hopefully the AI don't do an overcut here, because that is possible in a 25% race. It doesn't really happen in 50% races, but 25% races it does. As the Red Bull confusion and, let's just say, has continued, because Albon and us are double stacked. I mean, that's just Red Bull in this game. They just have poor communication between the players. We'd come out in P7. We're behind Leclerc and Kvyat, but I think they'll probably be coming in the next lap. So we jump to lap 9. We've just come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton. We're going to have a look around the outside of Ricciardo, but nothing doing. Ricciardo closes his door on turn 2, and Ricciardo has got that crucial overcut. But can we make this work? Can we line this up? But it doesn't look like so. We've not got the pace here. There's a contact with Hamilton there as we tried to go side by side through Parabolica, and I wonder if that's given us, we've got any front wing damage. I think we've got lime green front wing damage. Hamilton has another go the following lap down into turn 1. We have to a little bit of corner cutting to avoid contact. As Sainz now is coming into range on Bottas. Albon is absolutely nowhere. Again, the little glitch, the fact that the AI like to do soft to hards in 25% races. Bottas now is going to come. We're going 3 wide with both Mercedes. Can Sainz make it 4 wide? It's not quite. But there's a little bit of tyre banding with Bottas. We give him the space going into turn 1 and cut him off going into turn 2. We're going to get the better acceleration, but Bottas is up into P3. Hamilton has dropped to P4. With Sainz, can Sainz get in on the action? Clearly, the front wing damage is having a little bit more effect of us compared to the power of the Mercedes. Obviously, they've got a better aero package and chassis than us, so that's really going to affect us. As Sainz now is getting that as we're going. As the two Mercedes are squabbling through Parabolica, and Sainz is now pulling out the slipstream with Lewis Hamilton. Can he get a podium? Bear in mind, Ricciardo's already leading the race. Ocon is nowhere because his AI is not as highly rated. There's going 3 wide between Sainz, Bottas and Hamilton. Bottas gets the better of both Sainz and Hamilton, but Sainz is now going to pull it up as we go up towards the end of the first sector on the same lap, and Sainz tries to the outside and he makes the move stick and is up into P3, and this is the last lap as well. Bottas now is in the DRS, and unfortunately it's heartbreak for Carlos Sainz. Ocon has now come to join the party, but it's far too late. But Sainz is a sitting duck compared to the slipstream of the Mercedes. As their swapping has allowed us to pull a 2-second gap. Ricciardo, though, fair play to him. He got the overcut done, made it work. As you see the understeer kicking in, we go wide Parabolica. Parabolica. So we come through for second place it could have been the win, but I don't know. Ricciardo was on another level today, and Carlos Sainz as well. I think disappointing for him not to be able to get the podium that he's so much wanted, and Albon in the end just withered to 7th place. Interestingly, the Racing Points couldn't get involved as well. So although they're 3rd in the sort of base game statistics for career mode, it doesn't look like they're actually 3rd. It looks like they're a little bit for AlphaTauri as well, showing their aero and sashi. Remember, the Ferrari have had that aero nerf as well, compared to what they originally had as well. So that's pretty much why they probably suffered today. But yes, if you have enjoyed this video, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel and you see more episodes like this. If you've got a game experiment that you want me to try out on F1 2020, then let me know in the comments below. Until the next video, next time, take care. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you also again for 250 subscribers as well on the channel. Until the next video, next time, take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.